All right, so everybody here, I notice there's a pretty big crowd now that I'm standing up here, so let's get a few of you guys involved. Raise your hand. I want you to raise your hand if you are a homeowner. Okay, keep your hand raised now if you've done a home improvement or a renovation project in the last year. Quite a few of y'all still. Okay, so you must know then that the prices have been increasing over time. In fact, of the prices that are increasing, 78% of homeowners have reported that they have passed their renovation budgets in 2024, and almost 40% have surpassed it by over $10,000. And there's two reasons for this. The first is that prices are generally increasing. Home retailers like Home Depot and Lowe's have increased prices by 10 to 15% in the last year, and alternatives are unreliable. 70% of homeowners will report delays due to unreliability from secondhand platforms such as Facebook Marketplace. And so we can bring in the construction landscape now. Whenever there's a demand in order to essentially find, we have to find a supply. And that's going to give us the construction landscape. 40% of all waste materials, solid waste materials in the United States are purely construction materials. And of that, 12 million tons are generally donated to landfills that are perfectly reusable excess materials, which is causing these construction companies to pay $600 to $1,000 per dumpster pickup to waste management companies to direct construction materials to landfills. We clearly need a change in mindset. We need to say that environmental responsibility needs to be at the forefront of material sourcing. And on top of that, we need to say that there isn't a choice between price and reliability, that we can choose to have both. And that's where CLINK comes in, an affordable B2C marketplace that you can trust. Our prices are about 40% down from retail prices like Home Depot and Lowe's. And when you check out your materials, you will be able to see exactly what company are selling you these materials, which means that we're going to have that extra layer of reliability and quality of the materials. And from the construction perspective, we're just going to jump in exactly where waste management operated prior. We will take that $600 to $1,000 figure to move your materials for you, and whatever we can sell, we will give a cut back to these construction companies. So we've got an incentive from both ends. And here's the team. 3 Georgia Tech entrepreneurs who are computer engineering and CS majors who are in our second year of learning. And essentially, we are bringing digitization to the construction landscape, an area that has not quite been tackled yet. And on top of that, I myself have ran a company in the past. In fact, I was at an ATEA event in 2022 giving this exact same speech for a different company. So I've been here. I've made the mistakes, and I've been on stage, and I've learned. And so, yeah, we're here to now push that boundary forward, and I'm hungry to make this company a success. Now, our go-to-market strategy is pretty simple. We're going to start out with a pilot plan, which has already been underway, starting in October of 2024. And if we can have 20,000 materials diverted from landfills in 6 months, we know that there is a viable market in this space. Then, simultaneously, we're working on a product launch, which is an app and also a web app design, which will be ready to go in about February of 2025 once we have validated our pilot. From there, we're going to establish CLINK. We're going to launch our mass marketing campaign to onboard 150 households to CLINK in about 3 months' time, with that number exponentially growing over time. And from there, we're going to use all of our previous insights to scale, to use these markets to bring in 10 construction companies and 450 households by August of 2025. Now, the traction so far from that pilot plan that I was speaking about, we have already completed 45 orders fulfilled to homeowners and 10,000 materials that have been diverted from landfills, purely from these initial pilot plan that we established with Lifecycle Building in just 3 months. So we are well on our way to hitting our goal of that 20,000 within 6 months. And ultimately, we're tapping into a $622 billion industry with 83 million owner-occupied homes and 7,500 average cost per homeowner. And essentially, our revenue model is going to work in 2 different ways. Our marketplace transactions, which is going to cost about $60 per, and then our material pickups from these construction companies. And the amount that we're going to need to launch this initial market plan is $250,000. $100,000 of those dollars is going to go directly towards product development. And the other $150,000 is going to go towards market outreach. We can estimate that through our marketing campaign, we can convert about 7,500 users, which is going to, with the transaction cost of about $60 and about 10 visits every single year, this translates to about $4.5 million in potential revenue from this exploit. And on top of that, from our product development side, we would like to essentially establish our app and also establish temporary warehouses in which we can establish the fact that we can establish our presence in the aspect without essentially falling to the cost that we're currently having to pay. And yeah, that's going to be our presentation for CLINK. Okay.
Excellent idea. In fact, you're creating a gray market technically. This is good stuff. The only question I have is, you have the construction companies and the materials compared to what is available there versus a store, right?
Yes.
It's not complete, right?
Yes.
Things are cut in a different way for that. So how do you handle that? And how do you handle the quality of the product that you're going to ship?
So
at the end of the day, even though you're connecting A to B, at the end of the day, going to come to you if there's an issue. How do you plan to address that?
So what we're going to sell is essentially those excess materials. Construction companies know how many materials are going to go towards a project in a given time. They're very, very good at that. And so they usually buy in about 125% excess. Generally. So it's those excess materials that we are going to be placing on our platform months in advance, about 2 to 3 months, and we'll collect orders up until the date that the project is completed. And then using our temporary warehouses, we will have people pick up and essentially fulfill their orders. So those materials are just as good as Home Depot, Lowe's, or any retail centers, to answer your question.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go next. So who will be your ICP? Like who's the user who's using your app and listing those goods in the marketplace? So it's B2C, right? So who's the B in that model?
I guess to an extent, we're the B, because we'd be taking these materials from the construction companies and placing them on our site.
So who will give you the insights? Like, hey, this construction site has these materials. So how will you get those insights?
That's contractual with the construction companies. We'd essentially have to dive into that data. Exactly.
So what is your revenue model? So the percentage of cost that you're going to share with the business, like let's say you're purchasing from the construction company and you're selling to the consumer. So that's the difference that you're going to make it as a revenue or profit.
So yes, that's exactly it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a interesting space you are trying to fill in. But my concern is, how do you attract those consumers or households? What is the strategy you have? How do you bring on board the first 100 or 1,000 households?
Well, it's entirely through our marketing campaign, essentially. We're going to have to do a lot of social media marketing, Facebook Marketplace ads, for example. So right now, we're selling a lot of our goods, and our initial pilot plan that I was talking about for the 10,000 materials, we've been essentially getting those just placed on Facebook Marketplace. So as we do more sales in the future and as we work with more companies to get those materials out, we can essentially convert them into permanent users by asking them to download the app and also through other social media marketing to get them essentially on board.
Yeah, as long as you don't maintain stock in your, in terms of early investments or upfront investments.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.